everybody. This is James WX4TV is my amateur radio call sign, and I am a cinematographer and severe storms videographer. I've been here in North Carolina since last Thursday night, a week ago, waiting for the landfall of Hurricane Florence. I was down in Wilmington, and since then been going around the state with the flooding and the aftermath and the torrential rains that we had. Doing some coverage, shooting footage for stock footage along the way, sometimes helping some people out, and having you guys come along for the ride here on YouTube. So thanks for being with us. Right now I am in Kinston, North Carolina, and hopefully the phone doesn't overheat. I'm gonna blow some wind, some air on the phone to try to keep it cool. Hey Christian. I'm in Kinston, North Carolina. The water is still coming. It's close to cresting. They expect it to crest overnight into tomorrow morning. I am headed eastbound, although I'm in the westbound lane of US Highway 70 here. I'm headed towards the Country Hearth Inn right next to the Family Dollar. Somebody had asked some information about it earlier, so I'm going to do my best to let you see what's going on. I'm going down to the end of the road here. I'm going to turn around. We'll make a slow trip back. I'm done with my coverage unless something spectacular is happening with my TV camera. I've secured my operation with that, and we'll be driving around to show you guys a little bit more about Kinston, and then heading home. We had one of our good friends' wives died a couple weeks ago, or actually last month, and the funeral is tomorrow, and I'm going to try to make it home for the funeral. Yep, in the UK or the Bahamas or South Africa or Zambia. I can drive on the left-hand side of the road, not a problem. This is the Country Hearth Inn. I don't know who asked. The parking lot is flooded. It looks as if they don't have any water in the rooms on this side of either of the buildings. And at the Red Carpet Inn, Paul, the owner, was telling me just a little while ago they expect the water to rise 3 more inches in their parking lot. So it looks like these guys are going to be very close to possibly having some water in their rooms, although the doors seem to have some thresholds on them. This is US Highway 70. I'm driving in water that is about 2.5, 3 inches deep. I can see the road. I can see that it is not breached. And I know that my truck weighs a little over 8,000 pounds right now. And with the experience that I've had with floodwaters, I know that it is safe to drive this vehicle in these conditions. I would not recommend driving your own vehicle through floodwaters unless you've actually got a lot of experience and you're in a heavy vehicle and you know what you're doing. Now here, you can see the water is going around a high point in the road. It looks as if the road may have actually been impaired here. So I'm going to give it a little wider berth. And the same thing is happening here, where the road has actually got a big dip in it. So I'm going to back it up. I'm not going to go any further. Not comfortable with the condition of the road. It looks like it may actually be getting undermined. So I'm just going to back up down the street here, and you guys can see the Waffle House is still closed, so it's still a disaster if Waffle House is closed. The Barnhill construction place over to the left there is still underwater. The water is still coming over the road fairly quickly. And is expected to rise another 3 inches is what I'm told. And they're expecting the crest to be tomorrow morning at 6 in the morning. I didn't get any information on how long they expect the water to stay high, though. I'm going to let this truck pass by here. If you guys are chatting, I saw a chat come up. I'm not reading them while driving backwards down the road here. I'll let these guys pass by here. And I'll swing around a little bit and let you see the Country Hearth Inn and Suites. There it is. Still a lot of water going down in there. And the Piggly Wiggly over here is underwater. I'd imagine they've probably got some water in the building. And there's the King's Barbecue that we were watching yesterday. Remember this time yesterday, neither of these buildings had any water in them, and the road did not have any water on it. So the water's come up quite a bit from yesterday. Family Dollar is still high and dry. I believe this is the Sheriff's Department. Yep, the Sheriff's Department. And this is the Neuse Sport Shop, which this time yesterday didn't have any water in it either. The Super 8 Motel is where I did my last live stream with the ham radio demo. That motel is closed. There's hundreds of feral cats that are living in there. I'm going to pull over here and let somebody who's behind me go by. There's a big truck going by. While I'm sitting here, if anybody has any questions, I'll be leaving Kinston in a little bit and starting to head home towards Florida. A good friend of ours' wife died last month, and the funeral's tomorrow, so I'm going to try to make it home for the funeral. My wife, Michelle, who's one of the moderators, said that there were some questions that I missed along the way. I don't always catch the chats. They don't stay up very long on the iPhone. And if I'm driving or doing ham radio or something, I may miss it. What's going on is this is Kinston, North Carolina. The water is from the Neuse River. It's expected to crest tomorrow morning around 6 o'clock. It's major flooding. This is the third worst flood in the history of the town. And it is because of the rains that fell over the last week from Hurricane Florence. So you can see, even though it's a pretty day and it hasn't rained in several days, the water upstream just keeps coming back downstream, and it overflows the banks. And there's the snow cone place we were looking at yesterday. Hello, Kevis. This will be the last drive through Kinston. I'll be heading home later this afternoon. Up here is the Red Carpet Inn and Suites. It was formerly the Holiday Inn years ago. My mom worked there 30 years ago as a general manager. My uncle used to own it when it was the Holiday Inn. Some of you guys may remember the owner drove around with me for a little bit yesterday. His name is Paul. He's originally from India. And he purchased this whole hotel a few years ago. It was still in good repair. And then 2 years ago during Hurricane Matthew, they had 2 feet of water. They didn't have flood insurance. They also lost a good significant portion of the roof at the hotel. And it did a lot of damage. So they're in the middle of rebuilding the hotel, and I don't know if they have some rooms that are typically open. It looks like they do, and they're actually nicely appointed. But I was Paul offered me a room there last night and didn't charge me, even though I offered to pay for it. He was very generous. So even in his time of need, and you see this in situations like this, even in their times of need, people can be generous and help you out. I didn't need a free hotel room, and I offered to pay for it, but out of the generosity in his heart, and because I gave him a ride down the road maybe, and Paul, if you're watching, I know you have the YouTube channel. You asked for it and I gave it to you. Thank you for your generosity. And guys, keep them in your prayers. They're going to be very close as to whether or not they get water inside the newly remodeled lobby that they're trying to rebuild the lobby and the restaurant. They're building a little dike right now. They don't know if it's going to hold. It's going to be very close with the expected water rise. If the water comes up a little higher, or somebody drives a big truck through here and puts up a lot of wake, they may get water in there and have to start over again. But at least thankfully this time he said they do have flood insurance this time. So the bed was pretty comfortable. The room had been used already. There were 2 beds in it, and he even offered, when he was giving me the room for free, he offered to go clean it up and put, make the beds and put new sheets on both beds, even though one of them hadn't been used. And I said, look, if the bed's clean, I don't care. You got a clean towel, I'm happy with that. And I appreciate your hospitality. And we, it's a nice hot shower and a nice cold room. And he even fed me dinner. One of his workers had made some food. There were some buffalo wings, which I had one, but the big hit of the night for me was the curried chicken with rice, Indian food. So I'm very happy about that. And well, the challenge about the wake zone hoodoo is it's the state trucks and the National Guard that are blowing through here at that speed. And I want to give a shout out to them. They need to slow down. They are doing damage to some of these businesses that I'm seeing, and it's really not cool to be driving through here just because you're in a truck that's big enough that you can. I try to drive slow enough to not cause a problem, and I'm going to call them out on that. Billy Boy, I saw Channel 7 yesterday. WITN was there. They were here, and then Channel 11, WTVD, was here. And then there's a local website, and I'm looking for his card. I met a guy named BJ Murphy. He used to be the mayor here, and he has a place, can't really see it. It's called Neuse News, NEUSENEWS.com. And Kevis, if you could get that, I'll actually put it up here if I can. Neuse News, NEUSE news.com, and it's a local independent news source that is making reports on what's going on around here. So I saw 3 news crews. That's not to say there weren't others around here, but I saw BJ from Neuse News. He's a freelance guy like me. He started his own company, and he used to be the mayor. I've never been the mayor anywhere. I saw a crew that came from Colorado to work for WITN, which is in Washington, North Carolina. And I saw a crew local from Durham, North Carolina with WTVD, which is the ABC affiliate there. So Billy Boy, and anybody that I haven't responded to over the week, I apologize. I'm not always looking at the screen. Even when I'm shooting and hand holding it, I'm not always looking at the screen, and the messages only stay up for a few seconds. So anyway, talking again about the Red Carpet Inn and Suites, give these guys a year or so to get up and running, and if you're here, consider giving them a your business. The Hampton Inn is across the street, and the Hampton Inn is a great high quality hotel. But Paul is he's an electrical engineer who decided to become a real estate investor. Real brilliant guy, and a really nice guy, and I've enjoyed my time with him. And he was, in his time of need, gave to a stranger, and that was just really cool. He had no reason. I wasn't a refugee from the flood. I wasn't evacuating. I chose to come here of my own free will to cover this storm, and was more than happy to pay for a room, and he wouldn't accept any money. And in fact, they even gave me a package of Nutter Butters to take with me, and they're like my favorite cookie anyway. So I'm going to swing over here to where we started this out yesterday, and show you that the benches are gone. The water is nearly to the bottom of the swing, and actually it looks like it's hit the bottom of the swing now. Yep, it's just barely touching the bottom of the swing. Remember, there's the top of the fire hydrant sticking out of the parking lot water. What do we call them? The benches are gone, and the swing is just barely touching the water. So the water still has come up here at the visitor center. It doesn't look like there's any water actually getting into the visitor center. And again, the water's supposed to rise another 3 inches, they say, before 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So these guys aren't out of the woods yet, but thankfully it's not a flash flood. It's not a tremendous quick water rise. And as far as I know, there aren't any dams upstream that could fail. And that's as far as I know. I don't know that to absolutely 100%. I'm going to slowly drive you in the parking lot of the hotel. And I'm not going to go so far or so fast that I make waves and cause a problem. As you can see, it's about 2 inches from being up over the sidewalk, and then the sidewalk is at an angle or another inch. So 3 inches of rise, these guys would be okay, and another little bit more, and they won't be okay. And I'm putting up a little bit of a wake here, so I'm not going to drive any further. I don't know if you guys can see there. It's kind of, I'll zoom in. They're trying to build a dike in there. You can kind of see it right there. And that is protecting the entrance to the lobby. They had done some work after Matthew and ripped out all the sheetrock and everything, and they were rebuilding it, and now they've got water in their parking lot again. And again, this is the 3rd highest flood on record since Kinston became a town. Somebody could look up on Google and see when Kinston, North Carolina was chartered. I don't know when it was, but it's been a long time. I'm going to slowly drive around here and show you the other side of the hotel. Remember, this is the Red Carpet Inn, and these are the guys that were very hospitable. You know, these guys are trying to protect their property and keep it from getting inundated with water, and they were kind enough to give a traveler a room and refuse to accept payment for it. Just incredible amount of generosity from this guy Paul. And at one time, when this was a Holiday Inn, it was the nicest hotel in town. think it was built about 50 years ago. This is not a high water mark from water going up and receding. This is a high water mark from somebody driving big relief trucks through here. The crews that were staying here last night, or had been staying here, they weren't here last night, they bugged out. They're working down in Havelock, North Carolina at the at Cherry Point, clearing trees. And guys, I'm gonna run the air conditioner on the phone for a bit. It's getting too hot. Creative, there's a video that I showed a little while ago how I'm doing this. Sorry for the up and down. I have to cool the phone down. It's hot in the sun. Anyway, I Genasun GV10 maximum power point tracking solar charge controller, and it's charged back up about 90%. The only reason I have that big battery is to run the 12-volt fan, so that if I have to take a nap in the car, I don't have to run the engine and burn my fuel in order to stay cool. So I don't think I'm going to be needing that battery anymore on this trip. But even if I do, it has plenty of reserve power to run that fan for a couple of days, because I run the fan on the medium speed, and it's only drawing 1.5 amps. So it's an 80 or 79 amp hour battery. You can draw about 40 amp hours out of it. So I usually sleep for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours at the most. So, you know, every time I sleep, it's drawing between 3 and 5 amp hours out of the battery. So at that use, I could use it for about a week without having to recharge it. Little dip in the road there. I'm going to go over here and say goodbye to the police officers and find out if they know of any other flooding that's easy to get to that we can show you guys. So enjoy the view of the flooded road here for a second. All right, so said that downtown has pretty much seen all the water it's going to have, and the concern is right here at the river. And they're expecting a few more inches of rise. I saw somebody posted the actual expected rise, but I didn't see what it was. Can you imagine the math and the equations that go into predicting the water rise from all of this trillions of cubic feet of water that are coming downstream? It's got to be incredible math. Well, I'm going to talk to the drone guy here. I'll park and let you guys see this. I'm going to talk to the drone guy. I don't know if he got some footage when we were doing the ham radio stuff. But I want to ask him if he did. He's from WITN. All right, I'm back. That guy was from a local TV station. He's flying a drone. And he said if we go down here towards LaGrange, North Carolina, then we can, I think, go right past it. I'm going to look here. And then we hit Highway 903 and go south a few miles. He said the town of Seven Springs has got a lot of flooding. So, and he said as of this time yesterday, he was able to get down there. So I'm going to start heading towards home, which is now. But on the way, we're going to try to stop at Seven Springs, North Carolina, and see what's happening there. I don't know that any media are in that town. So I think when we drove up here last week, we lost cell coverage. So if we do, I'll just try to get it back. Stick with the feed. If it buffers, it's because we lost 4G, but I'll get it back as quickly as I can. Here, I'll let you guys see the quality end before we go. Stand by. The quality end's going to need some work on the first floor. And I'll back up and turn. The Hampton Inn looks like the first floor rooms probably have water in them as well. That's the Hampton Inn. I don't know why they would have built a hotel after Hurricane Floyd that was in a ditch, but I don't think that hotel's been here since 1999. I'm going to scroll back here before I start driving. Are there any questions that I missed? You'd think, Merca, there would be a lot of mosquitoes, but I haven't had any mosquito bites. I have been eaten alive by fire ants, though. Kev, I don't see what you asked. K4CLP, I don't know anything about the bridge. Kev, I don't see your question. You said you asked me about that the other day when you were at the park at Person Street. Maybe that was the coal ash. All right, guys, we're going to try to drive to Seven Springs. Yeah, Kevis, RS, in 5 days I will be in Florida. Hopefully not experiencing another hurricane, but some stuff I saw in the news this morning looks like there's some stuff down off the coast of Africa that could be brewing. Okay, so I'm headed towards LaGrange and then Seven Springs if we can get to it. All of you guys have shotgun. All right, so guys, when we get done here, going to Seven Springs, if we make it, I'm going to shut. Whoa, here's something we haven't seen. This is the Tabernacle Free Will Baptist Church. They're going to need some work. west of the intersection where we were. So that's the Tabernacle. Well, I don't know if that is the Tabernacle Free Will Baptist Church. The one next door is that. I don't know what church this is. There's no sign. But they look like they have about 2.5 or 3 feet of water in the first floor. Somebody take a look. Is the GPRS still notice this morning? I'm coming up at the junction with North Carolina 11 and North Carolina 55. Okay, cool. Tractor Supply Company is underwater. I'll drive over it. So that's Tractor Supply Company. Yeah, Kev F. I was told by the guy, the photographer, the drone photographer from the local TV station, to get to Highway 903 and try to make it down. To said that yesterday the town was in really bad shape. I don't know if there's any cell phone coverage. If I start pushing you guys, because he said it was really bad, I may be needed for myself. So if I lose you guys, I will just keep pressing on, and the live stream will probably end up cutting off by itself. And then I will come back and tell you guys what I saw and show you some of the footage in the viewfinder of the camera. Highway 55 is underwater here. I don't believe I've driven an hour in 3 days. Pull over here and show you these businesses. I don't know what they are. Actually, here's a house here. It looks like this house is abandoned already. I don't think this house was occupied from what it looks like. There's no glass in the windows. Maybe it was occupied actually. It looks like the windows are just open. So there's a home there. Don't know if it's had an occupant in it lately or not, but it's underwater. And some more businesses here that are underwater here. Crowley Timber Company is on the left, and Bob's Auto Sales is on the right there. And they've got a good, looks like Bob's Auto Sales has got a good 3 feet of water in it. John, you're from Kinston, right? John Harrell? I think I remember you saying you're from Kinston. And here's a business called Mickey's Beach Bingo that looks like it has about a foot of water in it. And if you want an outdoor carport, you know, one of those steel roofed carports or a steel shed, it looks like you may be able to get a good deal here to the left. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to try to get on to LaGrange and Seven Springs. Some some more businesses over here. It looks like they've got about 3 feet of water in it. There's a SUV that is totally inundated. There's a home here to the right. It's a mobile home. It's got water in it. Stick-built home. Both of those look like they have made it without getting water into it. The water's in the crawl space. And I'll slow down here. This is the Neuse River, and it is high. Let this car pass by, and I'll pull over and show you guys how close it is to the bridge. Actually, it's touching the bridge. So the water is touching the bridge here on Highway 70. The water's only supposed to rise another couple inches. And here's another bridge that the water's all the way up. Over here to the left, several buildings completely underwater, but they're in a really low area. So up here on the west side of town, it kind of looks like business as usual. The Pure gas station is open. Highway 70 eastbound is still closed. Amazing what a couple of miles of distance down the road can do. It looks like a normal day in Kinston, North Carolina up here. The sun is shining, the businesses are open. There's traffic up and down the road. It looks like the car dealership is even open. At least there's people walking around in the parking lot. And again, guys, while there's nothing to see, I'm going to let you see the vent while they cool down. Need to cool down the foam. Somebody commented on one of the videos earlier that they were wondering how they could do a streaming setup like this. This is a very simple streaming solution, and it's worked pretty well. This is an iPhone X with YouTube installed on it, the YouTube app, and a very robust large data plan from Verizon. That is exactly what this is. There's nothing special about it. If I decide that I'm going to include streaming in the services that I do, I probably will go with something like a live view unit or a TVU unit, but I'm not sure right now. No, I'm not on digital radio. We do analog and CW only, and we'll do some digital modes, but we don't do DMR or D-Star, if that's what you're asking. Okay guys, so enjoy the ride down Highway 70 heading westbound towards Goldsboro. First town we're going to come to, I believe, is LaGrange, North Carolina. And in LaGrange we're going to try to hit County Road, I believe it is 903, and go south into Seven Springs, North Carolina. Yes, I'm happy with the iPhone X. As happy as you can be with an iPhone. I use it just because it talks about anyway, I like the iPhone because it talks to all my other Apple stuff for production pro. It just seems to work better than the Windows-based stuff for video and graphics and stuff that I do. There's a lot of things that I like. You know, this phone doesn't have an earphone. You have to buy an adapter to put an earphone in. That's ridiculous. But it's done a pretty good job of streaming. It has overheated numerous times, but it's sitting up on a suction cup mount. I'll show you as I drive here. It's on a suction cup mount with a rare earth magnet on it, and the sun's beating down on it, so it is what it is. It seems to do fairly well. Ask me that one more time, I'm going to reach back there and smack you. You guys remember that from being kids? Use a cup. Well, this is a good sign. We had lost 4G out here the other day. The first day we were doing coverage on Friday, we lost 4G here. So that's better. And according to the Eagle Homes Incorporated sign, it's 84 degrees outside. We've gone through nearly 90 gigabytes of data since starting this trip on Friday. Thankfully, my month started over this morning at midnight, so I'm probably not going to be throttled. Yes, it did flood. I just showed it at the beginning of this video. It is almost, it's a couple inches. It's going to be real close at the crest as to whether or not they get any water into their lobby that they are working on remodeling and rebuilding since they were flooded during Hurricane Matthew. And they're building a dike around it right now. But yeah, the water came up rather rapidly once it started pouring into the parking lot over the road. It didn't take very long. I got up twice during the night, and by 3 in the morning there was about 3 inches of water where I had my truck parked, and the curb was about 5 inches tall. I'm traveling in the passing lane because I was driving in there and haven't thought to get over. I was over there showing you guys something before. I know. I've been driving in the left lane all for the last 2 days. Yeah, I really hope that the water doesn't go in. And again, anybody's on here, if I've missed your questions, it wasn't because I was ignoring them. They only stay up like a second and a half on the iPhone for some reason. And if I look away from the phone to drive, which is most of the time, I'm not looking at the phone unless there's nobody around me. Then I might miss them. Okay, Bojangles is open. Somebody was asking about Bojangles earlier during the ham radio one. Wow, that garbage truck is dumping a lot of stuff. Yeah, Sherry. I've done a lot of storm chasing in Texas. English, please, not Russian. The moderators try to keep everything clean in here, and we don't have any translators. So please make your posts in English. If it keeps going, the moderators do block people or put you in timeout for not posting in English. But if you don't speak English, привет, thank you for coming to the channel, and please understand that we are trying to keep it clean. It looked like you said Russian and something else. I couldn't see it went away before I saw everything you wrote. All right, so we're up to highway or road or whatever, 903. And that's this next exit. And I was told to get off and go south. So I'm going to go south towards Seven Springs, which apparently is underwater. If I lose data, I'm going to continue to push forward, and if there's anything to shoot with my TV camera, I'll shoot it and come back on either on this stream or another one. And show you guys what happened by looking at the viewfinder of the camera. putting on my sunglasses, which are polarized. I won't be able to see your chats at all now, but it's bright out here. So I won't be responding to chats while driving, looking into the sun like this. But I'm headed towards Seven Springs, North Carolina. I'm on 903, aren't I? I did see that. I'm going to pull over. You guys can tell me what you're talking about. I thought I turned on 903. John Harrell, do I need to turn around and look for 903? Okay, I'm going to turn around. The guy didn't tell me about needing. He said just get off the exit and go south. So that's what I was doing. I wasn't paying attention. I'm on Jenny Lind Road. Just before the interstate make a left, I have to take off my sunglasses to be able to really read these. Nice looking soybeans in the field. Yes, I see the road. That's where I was putting on my... I didn't see the sign. And it said road closed, however many miles ahead, local traffic only. The sign said the road was closed ahead, so I don't know if we'll be able to get into the town or not, but I'll take a look. So people are joining. What we're doing is we're headed, I've been in Kinston, North Carolina for the last 2 or 3 days now. with the Neuse River flooding. It's almost reached its crest. I need to start working my way back towards Florida. A friend of ours' wife died a couple weeks ago, and our funeral is tomorrow. Currently, we are heading in, trying to get to a town called Seven Springs, North Carolina, which I understand is fairly inundated with water. We may not make it down there, but I'm going to try. It's closed. And like Dave's. All right, guys, I'm just going to say we can't make that. We'll head in towards Goldsboro, see what the water's doing in Goldsboro. Once we do that, yeah, Kevis, I'm turning around. I'm going to go into Goldsboro where we were the other day and see what's happening there. Once we do that, I'm going to sign off for a while. I'm going to go see a friend, a ham radio friend, who I don't want to ping where his house is, so I'll turn off the APRS. But when it's time to start driving home, I'll open up the phone, cool down in the wind. So enjoy the nice breeze. If I can turn it up. Cooled it down a little bit. I don't know what I did. I've now got my remember the other day, guys, the picture on the phone got blown up real big and all the chats were cut off. The same thing has happened, and I don't know what it was or how we fixed it. 100 watts in the wire. Going to be heading home here. We just tried to get to Seven Springs, North Carolina, and the road was shut. So we're headed back. I'm going to go to Goldsboro, North Carolina, drive through the areas where we were the other day, and then I'm going to sign off for a little bit, turn off the APRS tracking because I'm going to a ham radio friend's house. I don't want to let him have his privacy. And then on the way home, I'll let you guys ride along on the way home. I haven't seen any water coming over bridges. Okay, so we're going to get back on Highway 70 and go towards Goldsboro, North Carolina. We'll look at the areas where we were the other day if I see any other flooding. I don't know about hammers on APRS. I haven't seen hammers. I think I'm still a hurricane on APRS. It got back into the default mode. I don't know how I did it. On the iPhone, I don't know what I do to do it. I just started pushing buttons and it went back. I don't know what it is that makes it work though. The other HamRadio operators call signs you see on APRS, I think that just means that they're pinging their location either with their phones or something. So now we are taking 70 business heading in towards Goldsboro. We will pass by the world famous Wilbur's Barbecue, made famous by this YouTube stream just the other day. Thank you, Scott. I have enjoyed it. It's been an interesting experience. See a couple F-15s off in the distance, and one of them's on his base leg for landing, and the other one's on his downwind. They're in a left-hand traffic pattern. Well, you're welcome, Russell. I hope we don't have to do this again, but I'm pretty sure there will be other opportunities, possibly even this year. And if there are other hurricanes and I go out to cover them, I will do the live streaming. Yep, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in Goldsboro, North Carolina. I forget which fighter wing is there. John, you're welcome. John, are you in you're in there right now, right? You're still in Kinston at the moment? Well, stay safe. Yeah, if I end up doing live streaming, remember back on Friday, this wasn't something I had planned on doing. And it definitely would be with a different device, so I can actually have GPS and phone and everything else. I would look into a way to stream what you're looking at with my broadcast camera. I'm not sure if that would work since I'm shooting 4K, but we'll figure something out. Serengeti, thank you. Yeah, I have the intermediate apps, and I actually have streaming equipment at home, but it's more set up to use with a robust wired internet connection, and you have to have a laptop doing the encoding. Tony Blackman, I am going to be heading home, but first we're going to stop in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where we were 2 days ago, I believe, and take a look at what's going there. I expect that the water has crested there by now, possibly is even going down, but we'll take a look and see. And then I will turn off the live feed and turn off the APRS while I go see a friend, so he has some privacy with not showing where, I don't want to show where I am, and then you guys will ride along home for most of the way. I may actually go home through Atlanta. I'm not sure. I need to look and see what route would be best to use. I don't know if Interstate 95 is still closed. Thank you, Randall, K9 RMR. This is WX4TV, your 5'9" in Wayne County, North Carolina. Over. You know, maybe what we'll do, you guys interested in ham radio at all? Our family really likes to do amateur radio contesting, and hams contesting and amateur radio is where you try to make as many contacts as possible with as many different people during a set period of time, and you have to pass certain pieces of information. And our kids like to do it because they don't have to sit there and come up with stuff to say to the adults. A lot of times when they try to talk on the radio, people will ask them questions that really, they're not inappropriate, but it's stuff that we're not comfortable having the kids share. So they like the contest. So there's a big one coming up the weekend of October 27th. That is the CW Worldwide DX contest. And maybe what I'll do is set up a camera and live stream part of the contest while the kids are operating. That might be fun for you guys to watch live. We're coming up, I believe, on the left. We're getting close to Wilbur's Barbecue. If any of you guys, I forget what the name of the live stream was, but it was 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, something like that. 2 nights ago, I guess. We came through here, and Wilbur's Barbecue is Eastern North Carolina barbecue. It's slow cooked pork barbecue. These guys decided to just hit their brakes. My great uncle Lloyd Griffin taught Mr. Wilbur Shirley, who owns the place, how to make barbecue 50 years ago. There it is on the left. And he allowed us to go into where they actually cook the barbecue. We went into the smokehouse, and that was really cool. So go back and watch that video. It's near the end of it. I forget what it's called, but that was some really good barbecue, and it was a really good tour to be able to go in there to actually stand essentially in the oven. Goldsboro is receding. Well, that's good. We'll go down there and take a look at it. I'm going to take business 70 here if I can get over. Somebody got on me about riding in the left lane, so now I need to make sure I can get in the left lane. Okay, I was at a stop sign. Joey, I think you're asking about how long it takes a license to show up in the database. It depends on the VEC, or the Volunteer Examiner Coordinator, that you use. With the ARR, it can take anywhere from there's one VEC called the Laurel, UREL, and I think they have immediately to about 2.5, 3 weeks. Does that answer your question? Guys, remember when I was walking barefoot yesterday? I'm glad, Joey. Because my boots got wet and I got bitten by about 50 fire ants. Oh my goodness, my feet are itching right now. Hey, good morning, Grant. My feet are itching from those fire ant bites. I am not going to miss the fire ants from this trip. You're welcome, Joey. Good morning, Belgium. Good dag. I see a lot of people. The chat's moving, and I'm not looking at it. So if you're asking questions, you're not going to get them answered right now because I'm paying attention to the road. But I see a lot of movement there in my peripheral vision. We're back in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where we were the other day. The river, I've been told now by somebody here on the chat, the river is receding and did not reach Floyd levels, which is good. But we're going to go down to where we were the other day, downtown, and let you guys see where the flooding was. We'll see what's going on. If we see some neighbors out cleaning up, maybe we'll see if we can talk to them. These roads are bumpy. I saw a witch hazel. I may just stop at Walmart and get some now that I'm out of storm chasing mode. Ben's Girls, yes, I did stay at that hotel last night. The cayenne did not deter that kitten. Man, there's a big colony of feral cats down there. I ended up staying at that hotel. I talk about it at the beginning of this video. And this truck here doesn't understand the use of a turn lane. Where am I going right now? I am in Goldsboro, North Carolina. I'm about to head home to Florida, but we're heading down to where the flooding was the other day in Goldsboro, North Carolina. No, waters are still rising. They're expected to crest at 6 a.m. tomorrow. But I've got to get home. We had a friend's wife died last month, and the celebration of life service is tomorrow, so I'm going to try to make it home in time for the service. I don't know what Legie wrote, but thanks for taking care of it. Can you imagine? Yeah, Joey, we got off track on that, and our son Zechariah's met here in the next couple of weeks. We just got really busy over the last couple of years, and that one's not done, but it will be. And then Faith Hannah will be finishing her QSX kit that she got in South Africa. That will be one as well. Michelle pointed out that one of the videos from earlier last week, I think maybe the first or second one that we did, has been watched 40,000 times. That's pretty incredible. And we're back. What happened was the phone overheated. So we're really going to have to come up with a way to keep the camera from overheating if we do this in the future. Everybody got me? Kevis, anybody see me? Anybody hear anything? Anybody got anything? Hey, Robin. We're live. Okay. Yeah, the phone overheated again. A constant problem. N9GLM, you need to show me that this week at the meeting, please. Hey guys, anybody wants to complain about Robin's moderating? He is doing exactly as I have instructed him. I wanted the chat to be over the last few days, and we'll be a little bit more lenient today. I still want to keep it apolitical. We don't want to have politics in here, but and conspiracy theories, tinfoil hats go quickly. But we're not trying to have any supposition or conjecture in here while I was showing you guys what was happening in Kinston or wherever we were. It was all about what's going on right now, wherever we are right now. So be a little bit more lenient with the chat today, asking questions about what's going on elsewhere. Let's keep the politics out of it, please, and keep the foul language out of it. Those will get you banned immediately. This is still not a free speech zone. Oops, I got in the wrong lane. Okay, so we're gonna go down here and turn left on James Street. Yeah, that saber test's been there as long as I've been alive. The closest river here would be the Neuse River, the same one that's flooding in Kinston, but I understand from somebody here on the chat that it is already crested here. Yeah, Robin, I love those old airplanes too. And as you know, our son Zechariah is really big into World War II warbirds. But anyway, back to the moderation. Somebody posted on one of the videos, I forget who you are, but Robin called you Buttercup, but Robin called a lot of people Buttercup, and he's not taking it, letting it get to his head. He's moderating tightly like I asked him to. So the moderators had done exactly as instructed by me. And that was to keep the politics and to keep the questions about other things other than what's going on out of the chat. And that's because it's our channel, and we can run the chat the way we want to. And I try to keep it tightly moderated. There might be an air show in Daytona soon. A couple years ago it was canceled, I think, because of a hurricane. You know, it's really easy to start streaming on YouTube. All you need is a YouTube channel. You can make one, very easy. And you can get an iPhone and an internet connection. You can start streaming. And it's really cool when you have a YouTube channel that you're doing on your own. You can run your chat room exactly the way you want to run it. You can let everything go wild, or you can delete people whose names are James if you want. We're in Goldsboro. I just missed the turn to get down into the area of town where we were the other day. And so yeah, you can have your I'm going to pause for a second. Inline GLM, there's a couple of Mustangs over at Spruce Creek. I don't know if you've ever been over in there, but they usually are flying, I believe, on Friday nights. So if you go over there, you can get in the gate by telling them you're going to the restaurant, go eat at the restaurant, and right around, I think, an hour before sunset, they go out for a gaggle flight, and I believe quite often the Mustangs are flying with them. But yeah, anyway, you can moderate your own live stream the way you want to moderate it, but my moderators have done exactly as asked and instructed. And you know, this wasn't about getting a bunch of viewers, which somebody sent me a message saying, hey, you'd have a whole bunch more viewers if your moderators weren't jerks. Well, it's not about viewers. It's about sharing what's happening and being truthful. And I think we did a pretty good job. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We've had a few haters, and they got deleted. Scott, the club that I'm the president of is the West Volusia Amateur Radio Society, which is in DeLand, North Carolina, in Volusia County. We live in Palm Coast, Florida, which is in Flagler County. And it looks like the floodwaters are receded here. Did I say NC? Wow. Palm Coast, Florida. DeLand, Florida. But as an amateur radio, I tend to know where I am all the time. I got that comment from somebody the other day when I was tired and said I was in Wilmington instead of Fayetteville. Ben's girls, I don't know. I am going to, when I see my friend, I'm going to get on the computer and look at stuff and see what is going on. As far as, no, we couldn't get the Springs rather. Seven Springs was cut off. But if 95 is open, I'll get on 95. If not, I will drop over to 85. And then hit 75. Well, guys, the other day we were down in this neighborhood, I believe 2 days ago, and there was a good deal of flooding down here, but not now. What I'll do is get up here and how are my fingers doing? It was the couple bites between my fingers are swollen. We'll see if they get those little pustules on them. My feet are really itching badly. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad we've had this ride, but the reason is tough. And I have made a living off of these types of situations over the years, and it's tough to reconcile. It's tough to reconcile, you know, having to go and document people's hardship. And it just looks like the neighborhoods are back to normal here in Goldsboro. Alright, so guys, I'm going to salt draws the poison out. I may try that. I'm going to go ahead and say 73 on this live stream for right now, and I'm going to shut down the APRS feed while I talk about or while I go see a friend. And then later today, as we start making our way home, I will live stream some of it. I may live stream, I think for security reasons, we're just going to drop the live stream once I hit Florida. But I appreciate it, and I'll be back on in a couple hours. And I think I just saw that somebody wrote that 95 is closed, so we'll figure it out. If 95 is open and I can get down to Lumberton, we may drive through Lumberton and see what's going on there. We know there was a lot of water down there, and see what's going on with people getting things cleaned up. So the trip's not over yet, but I believe the flooding coverage is over. Thanks for watching, and guys, thank you for contributing and helping out on PayPal and or GoFundMe. This live streaming did take away from me doing my job as efficiently as I should have. But you guys contributing and helping out helped offset a bit of that cost, and it is appreciated. And if anybody still wants to to contribute. If you've enjoyed the stream and you feel like you've gotten a good value, I would appreciate some. Yeah, Robin, you owe me $400 anyway, brother, for all those beers that you owe me or something. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it. This has been an interesting trip having you guys along. I've never done coverage of a disaster with people along, and I think we'll probably do it in the future. Hopefully there won't be any more disasters to have to cover, but I'm sure there will. And if there's 4G, I'll take you guys along. So I'm going to shut down for now and go see a friend. And when I get back on the road, I'll bring it back up and we'll ride along on the way back to Florida. Thank you for watching. This is James, WX4 TV in Goldsboro, North Carolina, signing off for now.